I'm gonna love you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Dan's Chess Lounge. Today we're going to dive in with some more mating patterns. Today we'll be talking about Anastasia's mate. This one here is a beauty with a rook and a knight. Anastasia got its name from a German novel back in 1803. So this one here varies from the rest of the mating patterns where it didn't come from an actual player, but it came from a book. The name came from a book. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we have for today. I think you guys are going to like it because this is a real pretty mate. All right, so as you can look on your screen and see that you have a castled black king and you have white has a rook and a knight. Now to deliver this checkmate, white has to check the king on e7 check, knight e7 check. The king moves over to the open file and the rook can deliver checkmate, rook h5 checkmate. So the knight covers the squares g8 and g6. And then, of course, the rook or the queen, if you would have a queen, would cover the h file. So that's kind of the theme behind this checkmate here, is that the knight and the rook team up for an awesome combination there. And then usually black has a pawn on g7. That's also blocking them in. Let's go on to the next position. Now in this position here, you have the same pattern in effect, but you have a few more pieces on the board. You have a queen, two queens, and also you'll notice that the H file is not already open. So white has to do a little bit more work here. It's the same principles though. Knight E7 check. King goes over to H8. Now you have to go ahead and open up that H file. Sack the queen. Go ahead. Queen takes H. Check. King takes queen. And then the rook can slide over to H5. Checkmate. This one here has a decoy. The knight to E7 pushing the king over to the H file was a decoy. And then the queen sack was actual clearance. That was a clearance, and then you have the mate with the rook. So this one here had a couple of themes within it. This is a beautiful mate. If you can pull this off in a real tournament game, you might even get like a brilliancy prize at your tournament. And then lastly, let's go in here and look at a game that was played by Magnus Carlsen and his fellow Norwegian, John Hammer. This game here is from the 2003 World Youth Chess Championship. So this is just to show you that we have to remember these mating patterns because they will come up in our games. The more mating patterns that you remember, the sharper you're going to be, the better player that you're going to be. You're going to start to notice themes and patterns within the game, and it's going to steer your game in a certain direction. Whereas if you had not have known about those patterns, you're going to be less likely to be able to deliver these beautiful tactics. Now here, it's white's move, and Hammer plays knight takes knight here. Carlsen plays a tricky move here, queen g5, which is threatening checkmate. Checkmate on the g2 square. So Hammer blocks with knight g4. Now Carlsen can go ahead and sweep over and grab that bishop and get his piece back. Bow. Queen takes bishop on b5. Next, knight b3. Now here, you can already start to notice Carlsen plays knight to e2. Check. Now you can already start to see our pattern, or Anastasia's pattern shaping up here. Check. The king goes over to h1. Carlsen takes. Bishop takes knight. Pawn takes bishop. Okay, now you have the rook, the e8. Now I'm picturing a rook lift coming here real soon here. Now, if you notice, black's knight is in enemy territory, and he needs to get his knight out, or he can play for Anastasia's mate. Now, looks like Hammer is not taking Carlsen's threats too seriously because he plays bishop e3, which is a move that is intended to trap the knight in there, so the knight has no escape squares. Carlsen says, okay, I'll just go ahead and take the pawn. It's a rook lift, and let's see what you do next. All right, Hammer is totally oblivious to the mate that he's falling victim to. He's messing with that knight on e2. He plays rook e1 to attack the knight, but it's too late at this point because now Carlsen can deliver a devastating blow here. Queen h5, check. Now, this must have been a total surprise to Hammer to see this move on the board because he's thinking, why would Carlsen give up his queen like that? But if you notice, after the pawn takes the queen, the rook slides over, rook h4, checkmate. Now, this is a perfect example of Anastasia's mate played at a very high level. A young Magnus Carlsen and a young John Hammer. Both of them are grandmasters. Both of them are big-time, top-level players, and they were involved in Anastasia's mate. So, all right, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.